Halo guys, oke, putus-putus nggak? Steady nggak suaranya? Alright, we can start. Oke. Apa tadi ya Pak? Sorry, aktivitas? Oh, kesibukan. Paling sekarang sih, ya lagi cari-cari internship ya, karena saya udah graduate, internship di KL atau di Malaysia lah, lebih fokusnya. Ya, yeah. Alhamdulillah sudah kelar. Udah, kita nggak ada di ekonomi kan kita nggak ada skripsi, nggak ada FYP. Jadi ya, ya, accounting dan finance, feel-nya di situ. Mungkin pertama kali saya itu mau memutuskan diri untuk involve in debate adalah saya merasa bahwa general knowledge saya itu agak kurang gitu loh. Seperti Syed Sadiq bilang, seperti bahkan mengetahui, kita memikir bahwa Afrika itu adalah sebuah country tetapi adalah sebuah benua gitu. Ini saya pikir karena saya dari boarding school, general knowledge saya tentang internasional itu kurang. Jadi platform untuk menambah knowledge itu ya di debate kan kita harus membaca news dan banyaklah update-update tentang masalah-masalah di dunia gitu. Jadi ya debate adalah sebuah platform untuk saya. Oh enggak, saya di first year atau second year ya. Saya mulai debate ya di kampus. High school kan nggak ada debate saya ya. Di kontrol nggak ada debat. Begitu. Ya. Ya, mungkin. Ya. Ya ini saya. Ya, ya, pertama kali ya ada ada ekstrakurikulernya kan di info aja. Di IIUM ya, itu kalau untuk kompetisi debat itu banyak sekali. Jadi IIUM itu subscribe dengan hampir semua universitas tentang debate champion kan. Jadi setiap minggu itu mungkin kompetisi itu ada, tapi kadang kita karena ekonomi sendiri, maksudnya karena kuliah ekonomi itu hektik ya, agak susah. Jadi saya jarang involve di kompetisinya gitu loh. Tapi karena saya ngambil niche itu kan adalah sebuah ekstrakurikuler IIM yang wajib ya bagi orang yang ngambil debate. Jadi setiap semester itu kita harus ikut kompetisi di luar di luar kampus, jadi di Malaysia. Dan IIM-nya sendiri mempunyai kompetisi setiap semesternya. Jadi setiap semester itu mungkin bisa sampai dua kali lah kompetisi itu. Dan ya, pertama itu ya, menurut saya itu alhamdulillah kita bisa melihat dunia itu seperti apa. Jadi critical thinking kita itu menurut saya semakin bagus karena selalu diasah ya. Dan kita mempunyai sebuah different perspective gitu loh. Jadi misalnya ada sebuah isu kayak gitu kan. Jadi kita nggak tahu apa-apa. At least kita paham lah sedikit-sedikit kayak gitu loh. Jadi kita ya karena di debate ini sendiri kita harus banyak baca news gitu loh, banyak baca berita. Maksudnya bukan wajib lah, maksudnya adalah sebuah makanan kita lah untuk baca berita setiap harinya itu. At least 3 atau 4 berita itu harus dibaca setiap hari. Jadi alhamdulillah maksudnya kita paham lah apa yang terjadi gitu. Misalnya Joe Biden ngapain, Donald Trump itu ngapain, atau di Myanmar itu sedang apa, atau di Thailand itu gimana, politik, ekonomi atau segala macam. Dan kita banyak lah mengetahui hal tersebut. Karena kalau saya sendiri mikir bahwa di finance gitu ya, kita akan belajar accounting, financial statement gitu-gitu aja. Jadi kita akan buntu dengan apa ya dunia luar gitu. Makanya saya memutuskan untuk sedikit-sedikit mengetahui dunia luar dengan debat. Gitu. Alright. Oh, wait, ah. Kelihatan nggak nih?
No, belum. Belum ada.
Belum.
Ah, LZ.
Kakaknya hilang.
Naam, Syekh.
Hello? Sorry ya.
Yes.
Just a bit of asking for you guys. How many of you have the debate journey before this? Like, because
No.
About what?
Not at all.
oh, okay.
What experience?
Okay.
I'm asking.
I mean, have you done any debate competitions or like having training of the debate?
What is it?
Oh, I see. That's nice. So, udah di share belum slide-nya belum ya? Okay. So I think I'm just gonna give you a brief of explanations on debating. So we have two types of debating, right? So we have British parliamentary debate and we have an Asian. So in this time, we just gonna focus on the Asian parliamentary debate. So I think that is
most of the time high school students get involved in debating because I don't know, like high school students probably do the Asian parliamentary debate instead of British, because British is a bit complicated, and then yeah, I think, but generally it's the same, but there's some phrases and the term of the Asians and parliamentary debate and British parliamentary debate. So yeah, okay. Wait a slide there. So guys, if you do not understand about the term or about the jargon of the debate, you can raise your hand or text me, or it's not a text, text in the chat box so I can know, and then just inform me. So like what type of jargon that you want to explain more. Because if you haven't done the debate, it's probably hard for you to understand about the term or the jargon of the debate. Okay. Okay, so yeah, this is me, and we're gonna yeah. All right, the introductions. So speak of the debate, the mentor of the debate. So I'm just gonna give you a bit of what is the advantage for you to get involved in the debate. So yeah, as I mentioned just now, it can improve your critical thinking about yourself, so you understand about the situations of most of the country. Like you have a sense of tolerance when there is any issue in the current situations, either in your country, in our countries, or in the around the world. Okay, and the second is confidence. So it is, I think, it is part of the benefit that you get, that you will gain when you involve in debating, because the more you speak, the more confidence you will become in the futures. Because I think, and it's my experience, when you can speak clearly, I think it is pretty good for you, either to the university or high school, in terms of presentations or in terms of discussion with your friends, or in the corporate perspective, like because this is part of the interpersonal skill that you have when you work in the real industries in the future. So it is the confidence that you have, or like the sense of confidence is really important in the end of the day. And thirdly is a social network. I think if it is an online competition, it's pretty hard because you don't really interact with to the people. And then, but in the physical competitions, like you know, going to some universities, attending one of the competitions, either international or local, so you will meet so many people, and you communicate with them, and yeah, you get your friends. I mean, you're gonna have so many friends in other universities, not focused on your university or high school, but you're gonna meet many people in different schools and different universities. Yeah, so that is part of the benefit of the debate. So yeah, so this is what I said just now. So in the format of the debates, in Asian parliamentary debates, we have 3 speakers. And in British, we have 4 speakers. And the difference is, in Asian parliamentary debate, there's only 2 teams per round. I mean, There's only government and there is an opponent or opposition. So there are only two teams in the debate. But in British parliamentary debate, we have 4 teams: opening government, closing government, and the opening oppositions and the closing oppositions. Your opponent is not 1, but rather is 3. So there's a distinctive difference between the Asian and the British parliamentary debate. So in the format of the debate, so we have a government and we have oppositions. So I'm going to explain just a little bit about this, the role of each speaker. So yeah, the prime minister or the first speaker of the government, if you look at the slide, this right, the first speaker, and we have this is the format how the flow of the debates look like in the real competitions, right? The first speaker is the prime minister, and the second speaker is leader of the oppositions, and the third speaker is deputy, and the list goes down. So, and then we have a reply speaker. So reply speakers start from the opposition side. So after opposition whip, the third speaker from the oppositions, now we move to the reply speaker from the opposition side. And then move to the reply speaker to the government side. So the last person who speaks in the debates will be the reply speaker from the government. So there's just a general format of the Asian parliamentary debate. So do you guys understand about that? Is there any questions?
Nothing. Lanjut dulu ya.
Okay, it's okay. Okay, all right, understood. All right, no. So, this is the important thing of the debate, because if you understand the role of the speaker, at the very least, you're gonna achieve the average mark of the competitions, right? So I'm just gonna give you a brief of explanations on each role of the speaker. So the first is that prime minister. So the role of the prime minister is to set up the debate. Set up the debate means to define the motions. Do you guys understand about the motions? The motion is like the topic of the debate competition per round. So normally we have the motions. We have 3 motions actually in Asian parliamentary debate, and then you have to choose according to your preference, first, second, and third, and then the opponent sides will choose the same benchmark according to their interest or according to their preference, and then match that motions, which one is the best of the 2 sides of the motions. So I think I don't have to explain that. I think when you get involved in the real competitions, you might understand very easy. So it is not a big deal. It is not. Okay, the prime minister set up the debate. This is really important role of the team, because what I could say, if you are wrong to define the motions, and then the whole of the debates will be messed up. So your opponent, your opposition side might challenge your definitions or might attack your definitions simply because you don't really define the motions in the end of the day, at the beginning, for example, right? So that is why the role of prime minister is really important in the debate competitions. I'm going to explain about the definitions, so do not worry. So what is the definitions in the debate? It is not entirely depend on the dictionary definitions. So it is part of the dictionary definitions, but it is more to your perspective definitions. I mean, your perspective side. What do you want to achieve from this debate? What do you want to, highlight from these motions? So you define that motions clearly, because it is very important for you to define that motions. Think, for example, do you know the euthanasia? Do you guys know what is the euthanasia? Or like,
No.
euthanasia is like an assistant to doctors. Normally we have patients in the hospital who suffer for a long period of time, either from coma or any illness or disease that the doctor suggests to the family members. We just end the life of this person simply because he cannot really, recover from the illness. So that is what the euthanasia look like, right? So the definitions in the dictionary is like assisted killed from the doctors by the consent of the family members or the patient. Right? So that is part of the euthanasia. Oh, so that is the dictionary definition of euthanasia. But you can say, if you say the euthanasia is the killing or the murder in your side, if you're a government, so euthanasia is simply murder. So it is, but you have your own definitions. You add more definition to that thing, and until it makes sense why you say that the euthanasia is a murder, right? So that is how the definition is really important, right? So that might be the debates of definitions might be around or revolve around the first and the second speaker, right? So I just want to point it out that the definition is really important. So bear in mind that the role of Prime Minister is crucial and essential to define the motions, right? And then we have the Prime Minister normally have one argument, because most of the time, if according to my experience, I just give the Prime Minister one argument. That's it, because your role is to define the motions. There are three ways for you to define the motions. First is the definition just now, and the second is the policy or the mechanisms. How are you gonna implement the policy, or how you gonna set up the debates? If it is the judgment motions, or if it is policy motions. So I'm gonna explain about the motions, the type of motions very soon. So because we have a different type of motions. We have a value, we have a judgment, and we have a policy motion. So yeah, so this is a Prime Minister rule. So give at least one argument. So you have to define the motions. You have to provide the mechanism of the debate. And wait. You have a burden. You have a burden of the debate, and then you have my internet connection is very low. Apologies, guys. Okay, and then you have an argument. So that's it. So from the Prime Ministers. So move on to the Deputy Prime Minister. So this is government side. Do not confuse. So we have Prime Minister, we have a leader of oppositions, and we have a Deputy Prime Minister, or the second speaker of the government side. So yeah. So what is the role of the Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister? So the role of the Deputy Prime Minister, or the second speaker, is to rebut all the arguments from the opposition side, right? So if you are a government side, so the role of the Deputy Prime Minister is to rebut all the arguments from the leader of opposition side, right? So now we have a Prime Minister and we have a leader of oppositions, and then now we are in the Deputy Prime Minister. So the role of the Deputy Prime Minister is to rebut or to debate all the arguments from the leader of oppositions. think, for example, when the leader of opposition bring one argument about the euthanasia just now, well, euthanasia is a murder, so it is not a concern of the patient in itself, but rather it is a concern of the permissions from the family members, right? In the end of the day, so it is part of the murder because you are not concerned or you are not giving your will to do these actions because you are suffer and you do not understand about the whole situations in the world. But then someone just say that just end the life of this person. So that is part of the murder. Why the euthanasia is bad, for example. So that is the principle or the benchmark of the leader of oppositions. And now, the deputy prime minister simply say, "Oh no, that is untrue," simply because. So we give them the time. We give them the probably. Because we consider about these patients who suffered the most for a long time. So that is untrue. That is not a murder actually, but that is this person's to end his pain in this world. So yeah, so that is what is the rebuttal look like, right? So and then normally the second speaker might provide 2 or 3 arguments. The more argument that you have, the better your team will be. Right. So until now, do you guys understand about the role of each speaker? Do you guys want to have an interactions discussions? Because I have a lack of internet connection, so I think it's pretty hard for me to hear your voices and to interact with you guys. But if I just talk like this, I think I might feel sleepy. But because normally in the debates we don't have this kind of lecture. I mean, like it is probably we normally do the interactive sessions where I will ask every single person to give their opinions on the particular motions. So that might be a little bit, fun and yeah. But in online, I don't, I mean, it's pretty hard for me, to be honest, to notice you guys, to realize, recognize your faces. Some of you might just shy. Okay, that's fine. Just inform me if you do not understand about the jargon of the debate, or if you want to ask me to repeat something, so that's fine. I'm really open for that. All right, guys. So move on to the whip. Or the third speaker from each team. So whip. Here's the thing, guys. The role of the whip speaker is not adding or adding the new arguments. So this is wrong, absolutely wrong. If you add new arguments or opinions, it is absolutely wrong. So your role as a whip speaker is to rebut the argument, identify the clash, and bring the extensions. Which team will win these competitions, and which team will have the larger benefit of the debate? Right. So that is the role of the whip speaker. You have to rebut the argument. You compare all the argument from your side and the other sides. Think, for example, if you're a whip speaker from the government side, so you have to compare the opposition side's argument from the first and the second speaker, and then compare to your argument why your arguments matter the most and why your argument is more important and why your argument is true in this debate. Compared to the opposition side, why the argument is slightly wrong, for example. And it is not part of the debate that we have to debate in this competition, for example. So, and the whip speaker, you are part of the negotiator, or like you have to tell the judges that judges, this is the debate should be adjudicated at, for example. So this is the debate should be. It is not the. It is like for you have to say to the judges, convince the judges that the arguments from your side is the most important than the other side. So that is the whip speaker, the role of the whip speaker in each team. So you have to identify the clash. Clash mean like I would say the thing that they each time agree upon the debate. Think, for example, the motion just now, euthanasia, right? So this government side said that the euthanasia is not a murder, and then the opposition side said that the euthanasia is a murder or the killing people. Right, so this is a clash of the debate. So you have to convince the judges. So judges, this is the thing, this is the right definitions of the euthanasias. And side of the opposition then simply, simply neglect all definitions from our first and second speaker, and then said that the euthanasia is a murder. In our side of the house, for example, euthanasia is not a murder because we give you a mechanism, we give you a policy, we give you a really an important definitions what euthanasia is look like in our world, in our world, right? So that is the clash of the debates. For example, you might argue about the principle or burden. That is also can be a clash of the debate. So it depends. Bear in mind that the role of whip speaker is to identify the clash. If you cannot identify the clash, so you probably lost of the debate. So yeah, so move on to the reply speaker. So reply speaker is similar rule with the whip speaker. It's just tell to the judges, so this side should win the debate. This side is better than their side of the house. So this side is really good, and that side is just it's just not good as our side. So this is just a reply speaker. So yeah, that's it for the rule of the speakers or each speaker from the team. So we just scroll down. Defa. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, normally we have 7 minutes of speaker time. So yeah, it is probably 7 to 7.15 or 30. It is normal. But yeah, that is how the timing and the point of informations in the debate, right? So from 0 to 1 is protected time. So that means you cannot ask a POI. POI means point of information. So the point of information is like asking questions. If you're a government side and someone is just raised their hand to ask the POI, so it should be from the 1 to 6 minutes. You cannot ask the POI, point of information, from 0 to 1. So that is what we call a protected time from each speaker, right? So the POI can be clarifications, questions, or opinion. It can be rejected by the speaker, but at the very least, I highly recommend you guys to accept at least one POI in your speech, because debating is interactions, right, between one side to the other side. If you cannot accept the POI, so what is the point of debating? So yeah. I normally do the POI after 5 minutes because I need to settle my cases. I need to, deliver my arguments. And then after 5 to 6, that is the time for you to ask a question. So I would say to the opponent side, I'm gonna take the POI after 5 minutes. So that is what I normally do in my speech. So yeah. The POI, the maximum of POI is 15 seconds. So you have to, encapsulate everything that you want to ask. Think, for example, you can ask everything about the motions in the POI. Think, for example, if you're unclear about the definition, for example, or the mechanisms that the government side bring into this debate, so you might ask the POI. So how is the mechanism look like in your side of the house, right? Or think, for example, if they cannot define the motions very clearly, so you can ask the right definitions, right? Or think, for example, if they define the motions, or they mistakenly define the motions, so you might ask the definitions. No, I think the right definitions according to the dictionary, for example, or according to your knowledge, these definitions. Why would you say that definitions, the right definitions in your side of the house? So it's just a POI. Like you can ask everything in regard with the motions. So yeah, so that's a POI. So up to 6 to 7 is the protected time. So you cannot ask a POI, and then and then the speaker should conclude their speeches from 6 to 7, because after 7.15 the judges will not consider any point or any argument from your speech. So that is why you have to stop your speech after 7.15. So yeah. Is there any questions, guys?
Belum.
Okay, good. Okay. Tanya aja ya kalau nggak paham atau apa gitu, atau mau ngapain. Mau kurang jelas atau apa gitu ya. Boleh gitu.
Siap.
Bahasa Indonesia juga nggak apa-apa sih. Okay, strategies to be a good debaters. So I think every person has their own strategies to be a good debaters. For me, can we move to the next slide? So yeah, the general thing, I would say that you have to read the news every day. I highly recommend, if you are competing with the international competitions, so you have to read a lot of news from the international scale. Either normally revolve around the USA, Europe, Middle East. Middle East, like Al Jazeera. That is a platform for you to read the news. If you are concerned about the international, or like USA, Canada, or American, you can read the Guardian or CNBC, BBC. Yeah, Europe is BBC lah. And then AP, Associate Press. So those kind of platform is very good for you to improve your knowledge or general knowledge situations or conditions. Yeah. So this is really important as well, like understand the emotions. So normally we have a info slide or information slide. Think, for example, there is specific motions that you are required to debate, but then the motion is a bit of vague, so there would be an info slide for you to refer on, right? So information slide, just like just a brief of explanations what the debate should be in this competition, in this particular round. So that is the info slide. And then if you do not understand about the info slide, you can ask the judges or you can ask the committee, what is that definitions? Think, for example, or the jargon that you do not understand. So you can ask the committee to define or to clarify more about that thing or about that phrases, for example. So you can ask that thing, but you cannot ask after the debate start, right? So there would be a preparation time. So that is the time for you to ask the committee or the judges or the co-adjudicators to clarify the motions. So motions, many type of motions, right? But I think most of the time the motions will revolve around the policy motions, value motions or judgment motions, and the again I forget. Wait, I referred to my slide. Value, value or judgment policy, and the wait. Fact motions, right? The fact motion is like this house belief is this is true or this is untrue. So that is part of the fact motions. And then we have a policy motions. Policy motions is that you are required to create the policy in order to solve the problem. Think for example, in a high corruptions of the country, this house would support the creations of independent body to regulate the corruptions, the corruption thing, for example. So you are required to ask to create the policy or the mechanisms to solve the particular problem. Yeah, that's the thing. That is about the fact motions. So in the policy motions, and then we have a value or judgment motions. And the value of judgment motion is like is something that the moral principle that you have to debate on. Right? Think for example, like it's just part of like philosophy thingy, like for example, about utilitarian and the deontology principle. So you have to debate on this particular emotions, and then that is why you have to learn about the philosophical thing. So yeah, move to the next slide. Yeah, this is policy motions. Normally, this house would or this house support it carry out the actions. So you, as I mentioned just now, you are required to create the policy in order to solve the problem in this particular country. Think, for example, India. We have a high rate of rape, for example. So what do you want to achieve in these motions if you have this kind of policy, right? So yeah, for example, in Indonesia, what is the hot news in Indonesia? Can you guys give me one famous or one recent news? Oh, okay, vaccine, right? Vaccine, right?
Yeah.
The rollout of the vaccinations, for example. So might be this the private company to distribute or to roll out or to administer the vaccines in Indonesia, for example. So in the government side, you might say that, oh, because the public company is always corrupt, for example, and that is why we do not trust the public company to administer or to roll out the vaccines in our country. Therefore, the private company should be appointed to distribute the vaccines in our country. So this is part of the policy motions. You create the policy, why this motion is important, why this motion is crucial in our country because of the specific or the particular problem that we have, and then show to the judges that this is an effective way to deal with the problem. Right. Think, for example, governments want to ban the smoking, for example, or cigarettes. Right. So you have to create the policy why smoking is so bad and why cigarette it can kill people. Right. So you want to create the policy. You want to create the law to your countries because of the problem that you have recently. So there's a policy motions. Now we have a fact motions. The fact motion is just like the fact on the actual fact that we believe on, or like the status quo. So yeah, like this house belief that the social media is harmful for the children. Why is it fact or why is it true, right? So you have to deal with these motions. This is what we call a fact motions. Not require policy or model, but you just state that this motion is true and this motion is untrue, for example. And then yeah, you can provide the alternative. How is your world like if you passed these motions? So that is about the fact motions. Do you have any questions, guys, about the motions?
No.
Oh, I see.
No.
Okay. Move to next slide. Yes. And then the value motions, like debating whether something has value or not. Job satisfaction is important than high paid salary job. For example, like investment bank, a consultant, a firm, or other related job with high, with I don't know, unsatisfied, but then high salary or high wages, for example. So this is about the value motions, about the judgment, whether you think that this motion is true, and then or that motion is untrue. It is a value. There is no right and there is no wrong for these motions. It is depend entirely from your perspective. Why you say this motion, or think for example, just job satisfaction is important than the high paid salary, for example, right? So it is about, there's no wrong and there's no right answer about your perspective, but it is depend on your negotiations to the judges. So that is about the value motions. Think, for example, like in utilitarian and deontology. Do you guys know about the utilitarian principle? Guys, ada yang tahu apa itu utilitarian? Ada yang tahu apa itu deontology?
Enggak tahu.
Okay.
Yo.
That's okay. I think I have the same experience as you guys when I first start my debating journey. I don't know anything at all like deontology, utilitarians, and so on and so forth. Do not worry. I mean, that's fine. At least you have a motivation to be good debaters. That's fine. Yeah. Utilitarian mean it is about the moral principle that value the high numbers of people. They prioritize the outcome for the greatest benefit of the people. Think, for example, legalizing or banning the smoking, for example, right? Smoking. All right, banning smoking, right? What is the deontology? Deontology mean like they don't consider about the numbers, or they don't consider about the large amount of people, but they consider about the individual right. So utilitarian is about the numbers, large numbers equal to the large happiness or high amount of happiness. But the deontology principle said that the individual right is the most important rather than the numbers that you have in that particular policy, for example. Now, we have emotions of this banning smoking. What would the utilitarian principle say about the smoking? Well, if you ban the smoking, so people will be happy. Most of the time, people there are many people will be happy about that because not protecting the environment, and then secondly is that reducing the healthcare, and then people like I don't know okay, that is, I think the principle is that you're gonna have large amount of who will be happy about these motions, right? Banning smoking. But the individual right, for those who feel satisfied about the smoking, right? Think, for example, like if I smoke and then I feel I release my stress, cannot fulfill their individual rights simply because this policy will ban them from the smoking. So, you know, you surrender your rights, your individual rights, to achieve the greatest benefit. So that is how the utilitarian principle and the deontology principle look like in the debate. So there is no wrong and there is no right answer under the debate. But it is about the negotiations. Why you have to prove to the judges that the utilitarian, for example, is the most important in the debate, or why the deontology principle is the crucial or the essential policy that we have to highlight in the debate, right? So yeah, that is the difference between the deontology and utilitarians. So yeah, can we move on? Next slide. So yeah, yeah, as I mentioned just now, when we are in the competitions, we have roll call. Roll call is like attendance, normal attendance, and then we have release motions. Right after the release motions, you have 30 minutes to prepare your cases with your teammate. So you will be given 30 minutes of preparation time. So this is an important time for you to build up your cases in the competitions. If anything unclear in the information slide, as I mentioned just now, you may ask questions. So you have 30 minutes to prepare the debate, your argument with your team. But in the British parliamentary debates, we only have 15 minutes, not 30 minutes. So that's why the British parliamentary is a bit of hard, I think difficult, instead of Asian parliamentary debate. And then the British or the BP, they do not, they are not, I mean, like the motion I think is not released yet. But in Asians, you have 1 week before the competitions, the motion will be released by the committee. So there's the real difference between the British and Asians. That is why what I said, that the high school students probably subscribe the Asian parliamentary instead of British. So in the preparation time, build up your own strategy, spend 15 minutes to find the middle ground. What I said just now, think, for example, what you want to achieve in the debate. So you have to discuss with your friends, just 15 minutes before you think about yourself, or you think about your own argument, right? So you have a 15 minutes, set up the time. Guys, come on, like for example, if you have a team, 2 teams, right? If you have a teams and then your friends, then you discuss with your friends 15 minutes, and then come out with the middle ground or the consensus. What do you want to achieve in the debate? Think, for example, in the motion of smoking just now. If your government, you want to ban the smoking, what is the middle ground of this debate? Can I have one person to answer these questions? Ada bisa? Kenapa kalian mau nih nge-ban smoking gitu? Apa nih yang kalian pikirkan gitu? I don't think, guys. Okay. I think well, banning smoking can reduce the healthcare costs of the country, right? So if you ban smoking, people won't get the disease such as cancer or diabetes, for example. So the cost of the BPJS, the Indonesians, or the health insurance of your country will reduce. The amount of budgets for the healthcare will reduce if you ban smoking. So that is a middle ground. Why you think that that is banning smoking is a good thing in your country, in your side of the house, right? In your side. So that is part of the middle ground. So your cases might revolve around the economic thingy about the money. So, well, when we pass these motions, people will be more healthy, and then the cost or the budget of the health or the insurance of your countries as well. All right, so that is a middle ground. So middle grounds might be a principle that you want to achieve in the debate. So please, if you prepare with your team, you have to find out the middle ground. What is the debate should be look like in your side. If you couldn't find the middle grounds, it's like everything will be messed up, actually. Yeah. Move on. Okay. Yeah. I think this is the. I think this is the good preparations for you to set up the case or to set up your argument. Ask your questions. What is the burden in the debate, right? And what are the principles that you need to stand for? And what are the clashes in the debate? So this is the three strategies for you to think before you start creating your argument. So think, for example, what is the burden in the debate? The burden means like, what is the thing that you need to prove to the judges or to prove to the other side that this motion is really important in your side? Think, for example, just now we had the smoking motions, right? Banning smoking. So what is the burden in this debate? The burden means you have to prove to the judges that banning smoking will create a largest benefit or largest outcome for the people. I think, for example, healthcare. Think, for example, like I don't know, environment, anything, right? So that is a burden. So you need to prove specific actions why this motion is important to be debated. And what is the principle? The principle mean, I would say, is what you believe in these motions. All right. Principle mean like, okay, I know that the principle of the smoking rights, individual rights. If you're a government, you say no, we do not infringe the individual rights if we ban the smoking, but we give them the alternative. Like, for example, give them the alternative. For example, you create the other product that is more healthy than this smoking. Think, for example, vape or e-cigarette, for example. Do not infringe the individual rights, but rather we give them the alternative why the smoking is bad and then why you shouldn't smoke in the first place. So the principle is the individual rights, right? So yeah, the motions will revolve around the principle about the individual rights. So you have to identify what is the principle of your side and what is the principle of their side, the opponent side. And then clashes. Clash, I think I just explained just now, the clash mean that what the citizen side want to stand for and what is the government side want to stand for in this debate. And then you find the middle ground and then flip the argument and then say to the judges why your argument matters in regard with this particular motions. So I think it's this, it's a really debate jargon term. Yeah, I think at the first you might confuse, but that's fine. Just stay calm. I think it's okay. I think the more you involve in the debates, I think the more you will understand about this term and jargon. So yeah. Okay. This is also important. So you have to know who is the judges though? Who is the adjudicators in the competitions? So judges simply mean the one who do not understand about in this world. You have to imagine that the judges do not understand about the world, and then you are the one who gonna explain them. This is how the motions look like, and this is how the motion should be in your world, right? So think, for example, when the zombie, for example, or other people come to your country and then said, you say that, oh, we have this culture and so on and so forth, and then they do not understand about that thing, and that you are the one who's gonna explain and clarify everything about that thing to these persons, and then that is how the judges look like in the debates. They are not biased. They set aside the personal opinion. For example, me, even though I'm from economic student, I do understand about economic, but I should put aside my personal opinion about the economic thingy, because I have to say that I is the one who do not understand about anything in this competition. So you are the one, the speaker are the one who gonna explain everything for me in this debate. All right. Okay. They do not expect the argument to be presented, as I mentioned just now, even though you are economics. So you don't have to expect them to bring the like monetary policy or fiscal policy and so on and so forth. So yeah, they have to be professional, and then they normally give a feedback to you guys, and then yeah, this is the thing. They generally read the newspapers. So headlines, what's going on in the world. So they read all of those things. If you pointed out what is happening right now and relate or link that thing into the motions, and then you will be getting the credit from the judges, because you read the newspaper or you read the headlines every day. So yeah, that is the thing. So that is the judges in general. I'm sorry? Yeah. Can we? Okay. In the Asian parliamentary debates, we have 3 types of judging. There is a matter, method, and manner. The matter mean is the content of your argument. Your opinion, your argument, and the rebuttal and rigorous logic of your argument. And a method is like structure, technical presentations, and organization of the speech. I recommend you guys to point it out with number of your argument. Think, for example, like if you have 5 arguments in your speech, you have to say firstly, secondly, and thirdly, or A, B, C, D. So yeah, I think it is pretty easy for the judges to judge what is your opinion and what is the example and what is the supporting detail of your argument. So that is the structure of the Asian parliamentary debate. So numbering is important, like list down your argument and present it in order. Yeah, and manner, just style of your speaker, gesture, and body language. I think in the online competitions we don't have this thing, because we don't have, because normally we just speak with our faces, not with hand, and we are not standing. Yeah. So that's it from the judging. Yeah, I think this is important. I think have you guys read the Alchemist novel? Have you guys ever read this novel?
Never.
Oh yeah, I would suggest you guys to read this book. It is not a thick book. I think it just has a couple of pages, 100 or 200. But it's I think the reasons. This is also part of my reasons why I involved in the debates. When you want to achieve in the novel, it just said that this person want to get the the treasury, right? And then from his dream, and then he traveled around the world. But his intention is to get the treasury. But when he traveled to another world or to another countries, he gained so many experience and so many knowledge, language, and so on and so forth. So that is why I suggest you guys to venture yourself to the debate, because even if you want to achieve, for example, you want to be a good debater simply because you want to get the certificate, for example, but part of that, as your way of journey, you will experience something incredible in your life. So that is what the alchemists tell you. You should you should get involved in something new that you never experienced before. So yeah, venture yourself into something new to leverage your skill or to improve your talents, for example. Yeah. Can we move on? Yeah, this is the videos you guys can watch. Final WSDC in grand final. So this is, I also put the link in the slide. Yeah. Okay. Can we move? Yeah, and then what next is practice, read, and join. So yeah, that is from me, I think. Right? Yeah, I think. Yeah, that's it.
Jangan lupa saksikan episode selanjutnya bareng saya.
Ada yang mau ditanyakan? Boleh sekali.
Sip.
Apa-apa. Nanya apa aja. Hmm. Hmm. Sama. Ya, amin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pak.
Welcome.
Thank you, Pak.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Insyaallah boleh sih. Kalau misalnya saya ngisi ada acara lagi mungkin ya, kok Minci karena online mungkin ya, kalian bisa join aja. Nanti aku kasih linknya. Nanti aku kasih Dava lah gitu linknya. Nanti kalian bisa join aja. Biasanya aku ngisi di PPI juga ada tentang kayak gini juga, introductions of the debates gitu loh. Ya. Hmm. Ya. Saya Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you.
I don't know.
Ya, Pak. Ya.
Subhanallah.
La ilaha anta astaghfiruka
La
wa
ilaha illa anta wa atubu ilaik. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Pak.
Kak, did I want to ask you in the chat? Wait, I want to go AFK. When I want to AFK. Should I make it? I can make you to the host if you. Okay. Okay.